Here at Use Your Words Podcast, none of us are knowingly foolish. Okay, Troll.
Yeah, we have thousands of years of architecture we can go over.
Would you build your house on rock or sand?
Knowing Brewer, sand because it's cheaper.
Of course, sand.
Do you still stand by that claim?
Did I actually say sand after that, or did he clip that together?
That is pure. That is a pure clip right there on what you said.
But you forgot the part where, you build it on sand, but you build it as a raft, so then when the tide comes in, you wash out to sea.
Editor's prerogative at that point.
You're always moving.
Where you decide to build your house on sand. And with that, like I'd have to say, welcome to Use Your Words Podcast here, where we got Mr. Aaron to my left.
As always.
Is it always?
Yes.
Is it always? We got Mr. Brewer to my right, and he's furiously scrolling through something, probably trying to look to see if we got if he can find his dream house on sand for sale.
Dude, I'm about to look for one of those myself, actually.
How is this next to the sand? They're usually the most expensive.
Yep, and they're the first ones to be washed away by
That's
the wonderful
true.
storm. We're all here today to have another fun conversation and just doing it a little bit earlier than normal, so there might be some Mexican music in the background.
Yeah, you. Looking forward to it.
That's from the... Okay.
That's always the rhythm of the Spanish musics.
Sure.
Every song I hear.
Since the Hispanic church meets upstairs and that, you might hear some of that in the background. We'll try to cut out as much of that as possible, but if you do, don't worry, you're not having a stroke. There's actually something there in the background that you're hearing, and it's not just Josh's rants.
Enjoy the music.
Yeah. So, how's your guys' week going? Good for the most part?
I don't want to talk about it. JK. I would say my week was pretty good. It was busy. It was fun.
Yep.
A lot going on. I mean,
wedding yesterday.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a typical work Monday through Friday. And then on Monday after work, I had band practice as always. Tuesday, had Bible study as always now. Wednesday. What did I do Wednesday?
We recorded Wednesday.
That's right. Duh. And then Thursday. What did I do Thursday? Oh,
you worked and helped move?
I helped move. And then I went and recorded more drums for the Sky Rap band. And then Friday, after work, I had wedding rehearsal with Josh. Because, after the rehearsal Friday night, then we went to the Umbrella Bar.
How was that?
That was actually really cool.
Yeah.
I like that place.
I was there on Thursday night.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's why I sent you a message saying I hope it doesn't rain because there's no shelter.
Oh, see, because I was wondering, I was like, did he see rain in the forecast or something? So I was like, what? No, very cool place.
You can go skiing there in the winter.
No. I'm going to hurt myself.
Yeah. So they're skiing there in the winter. There's a haunted house there in October.
That might be worth checking out.
It's called The Hills Have Eyes.
Ooh.
It's been there the past couple years. I've never checked it out. And then there's baseball teams that play there, and apparently you can get to go see a full baseball game. Tickets are $8. And I've talked to people, and they said that they're actually fun.
Okay.
So, and if you're 16 or under, it's like $4. So
better shave my beard.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so we know what Josh kind of did somewhat of Friday night, some of Saturday. What else did you get up to this week, Mr. Brewer?
Work. Tuesday night Bible study.
Tuesday night Bible study.
Attempted to buy a vehicle.
Yeah. Lease deals right now are absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. I thought it was funny. It was real funny. So the groom's dad married him yesterday, and he's up there, and he's like, just so you guys know, you don't have the accent. No. He's like, I don't have the accent. You have the accent. This is the original. I thought that was funny.
There's a reason we divorced that country.
Oh, I love you guys.
I don't know you,
Don't hurt
so
me.
I don't have to. But speaking of language,
What about language? I don't. Nope.
Here's Eric's word of the week.
I don't like language.
I know you don't like language, but this one, okay, this one is not an Aaron word this week,
Okay.
but it's interesting. It's a very informal word. So it's not a formal word. It's an informal word.
Okay.
The word, it's more of a 2 words with a hyphen in it. It's apple knocker.
Why do I feel like I've heard that before?
I don't know. What if I call Josh an apple knocker? What am I saying about him?
A lot of things.
Oh no, I haven't heard apple knocker. I've heard fart knocker.
Yeah. Do we know what fart knocker is?
I do.
I actually look up the definition, and I don't think, what's his name? Tim Hawkins knew what it was when he said it.
it. No. Yeah, probably not.
Anyways, what's an apple knocker?
Apple knocker. What the heck? Josh, you're a real apple. Is Josh an apple knocker?
He was about tomatoes.
He was about tomatoes.
Uneducated?
I was gonna say either that or you were. It's like
Okay, so there's two possible ways an apple knocker can be interpreted. One could be about like him and tomatoes. Another would be like someone going into a fancy wedding wearing cut off shirt and like ripped jeans.
So I guess I like that. I should have done that yesterday.
And then you would have been killed by the bride.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't know what to say with the definition. Well, isn't that basically close enough to a definition?
Just tell me what in your words. Not using like if you were what would you call that person who did that?
There's a few different ways that you could say it.
I'd call him an apple knocker, of course.
Okay, in plain English, a more formal English way.
Well, someone that for the whole what I got from the tomatoes thing is that he's just spreading false information,
But he
unknowingly,
but
not on purpose.
he thought it was real, so therefore he was starts with an I.
Ignorant.
Yes, that's what an apple knocker is.
I'm an apple knocker.
You're freaking ignorant. You're ignorant.
Josh is already doing the thing that we're talking about today.
I am?
Trying my patience.
Oh, trying. I thought I was being patient.
No.
Well,
You're trying my patience. You're trying my patience. But that's what. What are you doing?
Said he's pushing your buttons.
Buttons?
He's good at that. You notice that.
Y'all good at pushing my buttons too.
Well, yeah. So let's go ahead and start with patience. And since I was told on Wednesday that I said everything that he wanted to say, Joshy boy, you get to start us off.
Wait, what do you mean? What?
On Wednesday, you're like, I threw it to you, and you're like, well, you've already said everything I was going to say. So guess what? Joshy boy.
You can start us off.
So this way I don't say what you wanted to say.
But you've already said what I wanted to say.
No, I haven't.
Why are you trying his patience like that?
Because that's what we're talking about is patience.
So kick us off, boy.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question to you guys. Do you think millennials are more patient or less patient?
Less.
Without a doubt. Less.
Explain.
Because everything is so instant.
Okay, here's why I think millennials are less patient.
and
What
entitled.
generation beforehand has come out of college and immediately says, I should be getting like the $100,000 plus paycheck. I should be getting the company car, the company cell phone. Millennials are kind of that first generation. They are so freaking entitled that they don't want to wait to work up through the workforce.
I want my money now. It's JG Wentworth's fault.
No, it's not J.G. Wentworth's fault. It's
877.
participation trophy's fault. Kids who get out of college and immediately are like, give me everything.
I want it all. No, you know what? You know whose
But then
fault it is.
It's not the kids' fault if they've grown up getting the participation trophy the whole time. It's society and their parents' fault for allowing that to happen.
Eventually, those kids are going to have to grow up.
Well, yes, but
Whose fault it is, actually. is from, wait, what movie was that from? The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? The little girl's like, give it to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that time,
I want.
at that time, that was done as kind of a warning,
Was it really?
this is what an impatient person looks like,
It's
nasty. and look how they got, dealt with swiftly.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's
patience is not something that's normally taught. We're taught, you want this? Get it.
Go get it.
Well, look, even at our financial institutions, you want this TV? Put it on financing.
You can have it now.
Yeah. You want this vehicle? Put it on financing with a lease. Get it out. Now,
Ooh.
no. Being able to finance a vehicle is good because then that means more people ever use it to get their jobs out. Okay. I'm not saying that, but, and I'll throw myself under the bus on this one.
Yeah, you better.
I upgrade my vehicle like every 2 years. I don't let it and I buy it out. I don't lease it, and, maybe I should be waiting longer on that. That ties into some of the consumerism and all that. But instead of being patient and waiting it out and all this, I'm like, no, I want the new shiny thing. And I go and get it.
I mean, you can scroll through your phone, and it's just not one topic that's on there. You can do practically anything. Watch movies, schedule things,
Okay.
I mean,
but you try to have friends over to watch a movie. Nowadays, most people are watching the movie while Facebooking, while Twittering, while Instagramming, while
Snoring.
yeah, in Aaron's case, yeah.
Okay, falling asleep at a movie, that's a whole
That's
other thing.
different. No, I know.
They're not just sitting there watching the movie. One of the last few times I was in the theater, there were a group of teenage girls. They couldn't put their phones away the whole stupid movie.
That is super irritating.
A group of people who grow up relying on
Technology.
satisfaction, and the way they get satisfaction, appreciation, and the feeling of importance through technology. And you can have access to all these different forms of those, the appreciation, the acceptance and stuff on one device. I think it's just, there's so much at our fingertips now, whereas before there wasn't. So I think that kind of contributes a big part into the impatient portion. Millennials, age 18 to 34, are willing to pay more. On average, will pay 40% over the regular price. And this is to speed things up so they don't have to wait.
Well, just look, Amazon has this whole thing called Amazon Prime.
2-day delivery.
And in some areas, 1 day.
Yeah, this survey showed that almost 7 out of 10, so 69% international adults are willing to spend extra to reduce their wait times.
Let me ask this question. So we're on the same page here. What do you define as patience?
Being able to wait for something that is not instantaneous.
Okay. Johnson? Same thing, something else?
I mean,
And
that's part of it. I mean, also like tolerating and I guess being able to put up with something without blowing up or getting carried away too quickly and reacting
I agree with that.
in a poor way.
Okay. Yeah. I will agree with both of those statements there.
I don't know if this is a millennial thing or if this is just a me thing, but we'll see what Paul has to say about it because he's been around a lot longer. But one of the things my dad noticed is I always seemed freaked out about my future, and not freaked out in a sense of, going somewhere, doing something, family and stuff, but freaked out with a career-wise. Because since I had gotten my associate's degree, I was just working at a dealership doing odds and end jobs, rotating what I did. And to me, I wanted to do more with my life. And my dream was to be set up, solidified by my 30s to where 40s, I'm rolling in the good money because I had been with a company for so long, and this is not working for Boucher at this point. This is, going somewhere else, doing something bigger. And so that was my goal, is to have a family, kids, working their way to college by the late 40s at the latest. And so where when 50 rolls around, I can start taking it easy. So my goal by the time I was 30 was reeling in enough to be able to have a family and also be able to buy toys and, be a young family with the money to not only sustain, but to do more than that. Because the average American income, I believe, for households is around $70,000 to $80,000 for a family of 4. So I was hoping to be past that.
Okay.
But my dad goes, you got your whole life. You got your whole life to live. You don't have to, rush into everything now. I'm like, but.
Yep. But exactly.
And and for me, it's like, I feel like I've wasted years that I could have used for something more valuable. So it's like a few years, because being 23, I'm sitting there thinking, feels like I was just 21.
You haven't even started at 23.
And that's what he was saying.
You haven't even started
living, being an adult, really.
You haven't even started your career. You haven't started. You're not going to even be close to settling into a career area until probably 30.
So
at the earliest. That's when you'll start even thinking about a long-term career. And actually nowadays in the job economy as is, most people are jumping jobs every few years, especially your generation. Your generation, people are jumping jobs every 2 to 3 years.
They don't like staying in one spot.
Which can be a detriment depending on where you go. Because like where I work at currently, I have to be there 5 years before I'm fully vested in my 401k that they give me. So if I leave before 5 years, the money that they've been putting into my 401k, I lose.
Oof.
It's only the money I've been putting in that I keep. And other jobs are different, depending on the time frame.
Huh. Interesting.
So, I mean, there's that, but at the same time, it also is costly for the companies because they have to turn around and they have to retrain people every few years to fulfill the needs that they have.
Here's my advice for anyone listening. Do not be loyal to a company. A company will replace you at the drop of a hat. Be loyal while you're there working for them, as in you do your work and you do your job and you do it excellently. But do not be afraid to say, yep, I'm gone. Bye. All my bosses I've been friends with have always told me, do not give your life to the company because they
would not give it to you.
Nope.
No.
Do what's best for you. Company will survive.
Will it?
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
They're going to die.
I'm sorry, but all of us are replaceable. None of us are so essential to a company that they will go under
Not
if we
if
leave.
the whole company walked out at the same time.
I said that could do something.
Okay, if the whole company walks out at the same time, yes. But I'm saying if you leave.
No.
But so back to your question though, too.
Yeah.
That seems like high lofty ideals. Again, that was back to me saying about the millennials, how they want to come out of college would say, I have a degree, give me the big money and that.
But we do kind of, in a sense, I'm not going to blame millennials on it all because it's not all their fault. I mean, growing up, I've seen plenty of kids get things that I'm just like, really? I've seen kids work their butt off and get what they deserve, and I've seen kids not work their butt off and still get the same thing. So we can't necessarily blame it on the kids because if they're given something, they're given something. If their parents choose to give them something that they shouldn't,
that's fine. That's fine if the parents give it to them, but for them to expect it.
Patience is a struggle all around. It's just not with millennials. And that's what I'm saying. It's people who usually are a little bit more immature are less patient, regardless. But
go on.
Aaron distracted me.
You kicked in his ADD.
Wait, what? I'm trying to remember.
No, he kicked in my short-term memory loss.
You're already having short-term memory loss.
He kicked in my Alzheimer's. How are you?
That's long-term memory, not short-term. Okay. Mr. Johnson, question for you.
What?
It should be a simple question.
Okay.
And then after you answer, it's going to go to Brewer.
Okay.
In what areas do you find it hardest to show patience?
Driving.
Okay.
Yes, I've noticed that. It seems increasing lately.
I don't know. It's very on and off. If I'm not with anybody especially if I'm not with anybody in the car, I'm normally not trying to go anywhere by a certain time. So I'm just kind of like, okay, lollygagging around.
But if your target is to go somewhere
by a certain time, then I get impatient.
Because just riding in the car with him, this last week, he's just like, guy doesn't use his blinker or something and takes a second. You're just like, dude, come on. And I'm just looking at you. I'm like, Aaron,
what?
It's the person. You can't expect them to be perfect.
What drives me crazy is when people don't use blinkers.
Oh, that bugs me too.
Yes. I don't have patience for that. No. So there's that. There's the driving. There's
What?
about to get to a real personal one here.
Okay.
I think I know where this is going. Keep going. Waiting for friends to come out of their house.
Hey, Josh. What's your ETA? Oh, leaving the house now. 30 minutes later. Hey, Josh. How's it going? Oh, just talking to my parents. Oh, okay.
It really hasn't happened recently.
I'll say that's gotten better.
But I've also left my ETAs a little bit more open because I, like, for example, what was it, 2 weeks ago for the podcast? I was like, the earliest I'd leave is 6. I didn't tell you guys what time I'd be there because I didn't know exactly when I was going to leave.
Yeah.
Well, you know the earliest you leave is 5:30 means you get there at 7:30.
Yes. Yeah.
AKA this past Wednesday.
So there's that one. Well, just like, people in general that for like, I don't know. But then what else gets to my patience? Myself? Can I say that?
If you explain why.
I don't want to.
You don't have to go to specifics. Just what about yourself?
One thing, practicing instruments.
You don't want to practice?
No, not that I don't want to practice. It's seeing that improvement, waiting to like really notice a change and getting better. I hate waiting for that.
Okay.
Because it's just like, I wish I could just like practice a couple scales, do it a few times.
And boom, you know it.
And then just, and I'll be a sick musician. But
gotcha. So the waiting for the improvement there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That and I mean, Jeezums. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know, unless anybody else can think of anything else. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, no, this is, you come up with your list of.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, maybe you guys see something that I'm not seeing off the top of my head. No, that's it. Yeah. Cars, people, and ETAs, and music.
All right. Mr. Brewer.
Yeah, what are your patience thingies?
You got one for me?
No.
Oh.
I just thought of another one.
I was hoping you had one for me.
Oh, you don't know yourself that well?
Well,
just kidding, I don't either.
I try to, at work I've noticed my practice, you know, you practice is what you preach, and this is what I'm getting at with this at work. So even though Paul doesn't think my job is stressful, there have been plenty of people who have come back, and you know, throughout the dealership, being in the parts department can actually be one of the most stressful jobs. And what I have been able to do is I've been able to stay calm behind the counter when issues arise, parts don't get ordered correctly, because when that happens, the tech blows up regardless of who's at the counter. So I've just been able to stay patient better recently than I have in the past, and just remain calm. So this is a little bit of a challenge to try to think. I will say one thing that does bug me when I'm on the motorcycle. It bugs me when people don't, like, if someone's in a hurry somewhere, they get right up behind me.
Ooh.
And I have no patience for that. I don't care if you accidentally hit the gas a little much and you pulled your foot off and there's someone behind you, so you don't want to brake check them to give me space. You know, you're more concerned about where you need to be than my safety, and I have no patience for that. So many people are too stupid to worry about safety. So I don't have patience for that, and you can even hear it in my voice. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot, you know, when it comes to patience. I guess another thing would be when I'm at work and, you know, a higher up person says, yeah, I'll go talk to so-and-so right now about it. And like, I can stay calm when the crap hits the fan. But when somebody tells me they're going to go talk to somebody right now, I'm expecting them to go talk to somebody. So when I follow up on the end of the day and it's information I need, and they're like, oh, dude, I totally need to talk to him.
And you lose it.
And you're just like, so you don't want that part ordered, or you don't want me to do this then? Oh, no, I still do. But you didn't give me the information I need. It's you know, simple things will key over my patience. Oh, here's one. Here's one that really bugs me like crazy. When something simple doesn't work. So, for example, Here, this is something that would just tee me over. Okay.
Okay.
I put something on the counter and it decides to roll off onto the floor. Even though when I put it down, it doesn't move. Somehow it moves and then it hits the floor and breaks. That's what really.
So you're getting impatient at an inanimate object.
Yes. I know it's bad. That's
I
the
was
first thing.
I was thinking about the whole thing about working on the car motorcycle.
Oh yes. I've had 2 instances
Yeah.
where my mechanic words have come flying out of my mouth, and the one time I think I scared Aaron back into the house.
Yep.
Oh, I was so pissed.
Okay. I love how 60 seconds ago he goes,
I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything that makes me that I'm not patient about that makes me impatient. And then we're down to things that roll that make me impatient.
Say, and I thought of another thing that I can be impatient with.
By the way, that's going to be an intro.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say with the thing that rolls, it's usually the days where it's like the little things just don't work, so it like piles up, and that's where I get. So like putting the vacuum stick, the wand that you use to get up to the corners, in a room or something, putting that falling down, something rolling off.
It's a cylinder. What do you expect it to do?
I know, but it's like you put it, it stays, and then it moves.
You put the cylinder on the table. Stay. Don't move.
I had a morning when I went upstairs and I had some pizza on the little tray or whatever, and I set it on the edge of our like little island or whatever in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And of course, I wasn't thinking about weight just distribution. And then as soon as I took my hands away from it, it just falls over on the ground. And I just remember getting so irritated. And then my dad just starts laughing, and I'm just like, Dad, shut up. No, I didn't say that. But I was just like, stop laughing. This isn't funny in my mind. And then I go to the restroom. I'm like, okay, I was really dramatic. I'm not really a morning person.
I'm not a morning person either. But
but yeah, the
on.
other thing I would say for me, and one, I guess, I don't know, I never think about that much, but now I just started thinking about it, is being impatient with God for me. Man.
Oh, you're getting ahead of me.
Oh, should I hold on then?
Hold on to that when I ask the question. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But okay, so you already answered part of the question I was going to ask. So
Okay.
hold on to that.
All right, I'll hold on.
And I'll get to my anything else impatient for you, Mr. Brewer.
They're starting to come to me now. Here, I'll just finish with this one. So I still live with my parents, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, when I get really tired, I'll go from my chair and I'll look at the ground, and I won't even look at my bed. I'll just look at the ground, and I'll just fall to the ground, and I'll just lay there on the ground. Right? I'll just sit there like I'm really tired, right? My mom will walk past, and she'll go, you should go to your bed. I will. 5 minutes later, Josh, you should really go to your bed before you fall asleep again, because I'll sleep real weird when I'm on the floor, and it hurts my arms for some reason. Just anyways, she'll come back later. Josh, what? Josh, what? Let me sleep.
I wish I could witness this.
Oh, you have a little bit at your house when I'm tired, and you're like, Josh.
I'm trying
and
to
you
wake
start
you
poking
up.
me, and you try to wake me up, and I
But I've never seen you just drop on the floor.
But it's not like drop. It's just like I'm sitting in my chair, I shut down the computer, and I'm just like, I just go over, I sit, and then lay down on the floor.
Oh my God.
Question.
Yes.
In what world is a floor more comfortable than a chair?
When I am that tired.
I would rather sleep in my chair.
I'm
depends
talking
for
like
me.
my desk chair. It doesn't recline or anything.
My desk chair, well, only if I work at it will it recline. But I mean, my desk chair is still, I would rather sleep in that than floor.
Well, my head would be like that, so that wouldn't be comfortable.
Oh, see, I have a racing style chair.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways. Okay.
Yeah, I would fall asleep if I had one of those.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
I hope I can get this on video someday.
Eh.
you probably will.
Anything else?
No, he said he's going to leave it with that one. Okay, that's it. Done. Next. What?
It looks like we're trying Aaron's patience right now. As he dies.
Oh, that's well, I guess that's not really, I guess, patience, is it?
Spit it out.
I don't know, when somebody repeats stuff to me a lot, like if they told me one thing once, I'm like, okay, got it, sweet. And then just like a little bit later, they keep repeating it over and over and over. I was like, yeah, I got the first time. It's okay. You don't need to keep saying it. We're good. And then I don't know. I don't know if that really falls in. I don't know. Does that? Could it? I guess it depends maybe on the situation.
Yeah, I'd say depending on the situation. Okay.
So for those situations that does count for, there it is.
Josh's story about getting mad at rolling inanimate objects made me think of something.
What's that?
Why do we get mad and impatient at things that physically we can't control? Like as in the rolling.
I would say
the rolling vacuum wand.
I think it's because then when something like that happens, we more often than not should fix it, and that takes up our time. And when we have wasted time, we just get so irritated. But then yet again, I think about video games and how much time I've wasted on that before.
As I say, and I'm guilty of that too. So I'm not singling you up. I mean, where it's like, oh, that thing is taking forever. In reality, it took an extra 30 seconds than how it normally should.
Yeah.
What would I do with that extra 30 seconds in the day, honestly?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be curing cancer.
I'm trying my own patience with my own body right now.
That's called coordination.
Yeah, I would expect it to be better than this.
What's really frustrating is when you're playing a video game. That's a real long mission to where it doesn't have any saves in the middle. And right as you get to the end, you die.
Ghost
you have to start all over again.
That's good level design.
Yeah.
So that way in the remake, they can put in a save point in the middle, and then you will buy the remake.
Ooh.
No, I won't buy the remake.
He's still on that.
Yeah. Still on that baloney.
Okay. Anything else that you can think about? Why? I think one of the reasons why we get mad at these inanimate objects is sometimes, and I've seen this a lot, sometimes people think the universe is out to get them.
Yeah.
And that the universe is using said inanimate object to
superstitions,
slow them down or ruin their day because of a vacuum wand hitting the floor is going to destroy your day. Or
the universe is out to get you.
Or I don't want to walk the 5 feet to my bed, as we just learned.
If that.
I eventually get there.
I mean, you could literally just crawl up on your futon at the least.
I know, but I'm that tired. I just want to sleep right there.
Hey, you know what? At least he didn't say, I start walking, I see the pool table, I'm going to lay there instead of going to my bed. Because if he would have done that, I would have been like, no.
Pool table.
No.
That'd be bad for your pool table.
No, but I think one of the reasons why we get frustrated with inanimate objects is because we're already pre-frustrated about something else. Because inanimate objects always do something, okay? Whether or not it makes us frustrated at that time, that's a different story. Like, Paul, that chair, you were telling us about at the umbrella bar. You put your arm down and boom, it was like broken. Whether or not it broke with your arm and your super secret strength, or if it broke from someone else, maybe picking it up wrong or getting mad, I mean, you didn't get frustrated with that, but I'm pretty sure if people had pissed you off throughout your day and you told yourself, what else could go wrong? I just want to have a drink with some friends, and you put your arm down and it breaks and you were to get like a little cut or something on your arm, I'm pretty sure that would, boom, you would be pissed at and lose your patience with the inanimate object. So that's where I was saying it's probably something of a culmination of things prior to that event. Because like you said, you can't control a cylinder rolling off a table, or you set something up against the wall and it's good for a second, but then it falls down. You can't always control that. But whether or not that, irritates you is probably based on things prior.
Well, you could control the rolling of the cylinder by purchasing some equipment from a Velper and Velcroing it to your table.
Well, yes, but
or just securing it some way.
So in that way, you can control it. But I'm just
Yeah. But that's where inanimate objects will really bug me.
Okay. As far as things that try my patience,
I'll answer it right now. Aaron Johnson, Josh Brewer. Okay.
you got half the list.
Oh, wow. Wow. We're a whole lot.
Well, no. Only half that list is accurate.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Yeah. Got him.
Mr. Calendar. over
Mr.
there.
Calendar.
Mr. Calendar.
And I say that facetiously because, getting a message like the day or two before, we need to adjust the time because.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, that's what drives me nuts. People who do that. Not just you, because you're not the only one. People drive me nuts. Respect other people's time. That's one thing that drives me nuts.
But there's no time like my time.
Other things. When I believe I should know something, but I don't, know it necessarily. Like when I'm working on a work project and I'm like, I should know this crap that I'm working on. And I don't. I get impatient with myself and, the level of knowledge that I have on that and what I'm working on and what I'm doing. So that's one thing that's where I can easily get impatient with myself on that. People who go below the speed freaking limit.
Oh my goodness. Okay, see, What?
I say they do have a right to go under because the speed limit is designed for that should be the max speed to go. But when you're going 15 to 25 under, that's a different story.
In Michigan, there's areas where it says this is your minimum speed allowed. If you go below that, they can arrest you. Or not arrest you, but pull you over.
We give you a ticket. You're endangering everybody on the road because everybody on the road is going faster.
I think like the minimum was 60, max is 70.
Oh, I think down at, what was it, in Illinois, isn't in some areas it's 45 and the max is 75 or 70 or something.
I don't know. But that drives me nuts.
See, and I guess it wouldn't drive me as nuts if if they stay in the left lane and they're going that slow as opposed to
the
right lane.
No, if they stay in the left lane, which is known as the passing lane. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's the passing. That's where you're supposed to go faster.
Yes.
The right lane is where you go slow.
So when the person that's slow is in the passing lane and they're going below us, that's what drives me nuts.
Oh, okay. Because you just said if they would stay in the left lane.
Oh, no. The ones that do stay in the left lane that are going that slow and they don't merge over so we can pass them, that's when that drives me. You can stay slow there all you want, but if I want to be able to have that lane to pass you.
No, you don't want to have it to pass. You want to have it to travel, Mr. 15 over with the lead foot.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, Mr. 20 over with lead foot?
Yeah, freaking 24.
That was once.
Yeah, that one time you got caught
in a muscle car, late for work.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Let's. Okay, it doesn't have to be a lead foot. But what about that gorilla grip on the 749 Ducati going Mr. 150? I mean, so did I, but
I was playing catch up.
Yeah,
my party was leaving me.
See, I was slowing down, and then you just went right past me.
So, patience for following the laws of speed is obviously something.
That was actually the only time I've ever gone that fast.
Well, I know. That's the only time I've ever gone that fast.
And that was the last time I ever went that fast.
Same.
The only other fast time would be you and me, open road, no trees, black pavement, County A or something like that. And we just open her up.
Yeah.
That's the only other time.
Say I did 136 on that one.
Oh, you did? I think the fastest I've ever gone on the motorcycle was like 150. No, on the Harley.
Oh, on the Harley. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's its max speed.
Anyway.
So, yeah.
So other things. And this one I haven't had come up in a long time, thankfully, because all my coworkers are professional. Lack of, teamwork. I used to have that a lot at my old job. And that just drove me nuts where instead of them taking the reins and doing what they need to do, they would just pass the buck over to someone else. Or they'd be like, oh, no, you could do it. And I'm like, I'm coming to you because it's part of your job. Yes, part of being a leader is you take responsibility for stuff. But at the same time, if it's something I have zero idea how to do, there's a reason I'm coming to you to help me do this. So that is one of my little peeves as well that just drives my patience to zero. Having meetings that are pointless.
Oh, yes. Yes. I don't really have meetings really, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Pointless
guess I've
meetings
had-
are like the worst thing for a business too.
Well, yeah, they spend a lot of money, but
They spend a lot of money. They pull productivity away from all the workers. They lengthen the times that it takes to get stuff done, even though they still tell them the same deadline.
back when I was in school, and this is a while ago now at this point, but lack of preparedness from my, so when I was doing my last few years of school, we did everything in groups of 4. Like all your assignments were group assignments for like the last 2 years of my schooling. That's it. It was group assignments, presentations, papers, and that. And so we ever had someone who was not contributing or not prepared for the presentation, that just drove my patience to zero.
Mm.
And I was like, nope, I will throw you off the cliff.
I don't want to try Paul's patience anymore. I want life.
You know, it's one thing like if someone's like, okay, I don't know anything about this. Okay, cool. But if we're working together for a group project for 5 weeks and the day of the presentation, you go, I know nothing about this. What were you doing?
Not paying attention.
Yeah. And so that's when that's when my patience goes basically to zero.
Zero.
You know, I think probably one of the last big things for me, you know, and this, it's kind of like that, the inanimate object one. My dog. My dog sometimes drives my patience to zero.
I can understand that.
And you know, that dog, he's a living thing, but I can't communicate with him like you can a child. You know, and be like, don't do that. He understands no, but he still wants to do what he wants to do. And
Stubborn little guy.
yeah, he is very stubborn. And therefore, since my schedule goes around him, you know, that can mess with the other stuff that I may or may not want to do. It's like, oh, I want to do this. Well, I got to make sure I account for my dog in this case.
Right.
You know, what am I doing here? How do I do this? And sometimes patience just goes to zero with the dog. You know, it's not the point where I get angry and like start hitting him or anything, but it's like, you know.
I'm excited because my sister and them are going to be going on a trip. We're going to be taking care of their dog for the time that they're gone. I'm excited to take care of my sister's dog.
You get a little bit of experience with that, with taking care of a dog again.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe me. Dogs are a lot of work.
No, I never said that. I know they are.
No,
That's true.
earlier you were like, really? I keep hearing from people that they're a lot of work. I'm like, yeah, they are.
Oh, well, 2 years ago, a house sat Maddie, and I'm house sitting her again. This is that week.
Yeah, but house sitting and taking care of a dog for a couple of days is
Very
nothing
different.
compared to
Owning.
owning a dog where you got
Oh, yeah.
your life has to revolve around the animal because that animal cannot communicate with you what's wrong.
No.
You know,
See, I remember when my sister and them had their yellow lab Sierra, and when she would spend the week at our house, I mean, always, you know, at night starts barking and barking. Either wants food or has to go out and use the restroom. Man, that got old.
and and that like especially like when you have a young dog or an old dog, that drives that's hard on anyone. That drives your patience,
Right.
Because it's 2:00 in the morning.
Woof woof.
Why are you barking? What do you want? Do you want to go outside? Do you want up on the bed? Do you want food? Do you want water? Do you want a treat? Do you want to play? Do you just want to sniff something?
Right.
Are you bored? Did you have a bad dream? Did you?
Yeah. I always like seeing dogs like running in their sleep. That's always entertaining.
Yeah.
You have a rough.
See, this is where it's gonna be bad for you to have a dog.
Why?
If you were on your own, that dog's gonna be dying to go outside, and you're just gonna be clocked out. Like, fine, you're not gonna let me out. I'm gonna do it right here, and then you're gonna have a mess.
See, and I said that earlier, and he's like, "I'll get the gloves on." I'm like, there comes a point in time where you're just like, you don't use gloves anymore.
Oh,
You just pick it up and chuck it down the toilet.
dude, I can't. I see. That's another thing.
I've picked up vomit. I've picked up bile. I've picked up feces, urine. I picked up blood, picked up diarrhea.
Dude, just like I don't know why this always bugged me. That would also for Sierra when she like drool and she just have a huge thing swinging, hanging off. That made me gay.
Okay,
so
thankfully
much.
my dog doesn't drool. But I mean, all dogs try my patience at times. I love my dog, but he tries my patience. I love both of you guys, but one more than the other tries my patience. I'll leave it at that.
We're on the level of dog.
We are on the level of dog.
No, you're not on the level of dog.
We're one step above dog.
One of you, yes. One of you, no. One of you is one step above. One of you is one step below.
I love how it used to be Aaron that drove Paul's patience insane, and now it's me.
Yep.
It's just because I'm older.
So do I get a medal for
It's called
ousting Aaron?
All My Gray Hair.
Oh.
They've all been renamed Strains of Josh.
Oof.
Ew.
It's a new color.
Strains of Josh.
Yeah.
Dude, if I ever... Oh, yep. Okay. I'm done.
Strands of Josh. That's the color that I'm going for.
Touch of gray.
Touch of Gray. Strands of Josh is the color for Touch of Gray. Okay.
Yes.
So a question in which you kind of jumped to
Yeah, what's that?
ahead of time.
Yes.
And I'm not going to ask R because I'm going to assume the answer is yes for all of us. Okay.
I'm making assumptions now.
I'm making an assumption that I think is true based on what I see in American culture and the church culture.
Okay. What is it?
Why, not are we, why are we impatient waiting on God's timing for stuff?
For me, think, oh my goodness.
Apparently, Josh is impatient to answer.
He just wants to watch me get impatient.
I talked to Aaron first on this one. Josh, you can wait a second.
But it's always me.
It's
always.
Now he's going to get impatient.
Oh, okay. So always me, and it's always his time.
Got him.
Maybe I will make a video for his wedding.
Ooh, he's gonna look so selfish, and then people are gonna be like, "Should we let him marry?"
And then they're
this
going to
woman?
read the traditional love passage. Love is patient. Love is kind.
It's always on my time.
They'll say, love is patient. It's always me. It's always on my time.
That's perfect.
Love does not boast. Anyways,
Yeah.
back to the question A.
So why are we getting? It's funny. For this morning for church, we were reading Luke 17, at least the first 19 verses or so.
Okay.
And this made me think, well, there's a couple of things that made me think about patience. Well, I'll get to the other one next. The first one where it's talking about, the unworthy servants. That's verse 7. It starts, will any of you who has a servant plowing or keeping sheep say to him when he has come in from the field, come at once and recline at a table? Will he rather not say to him, prepare supper for me and dress properly and serve me while I eat and drink, and afterward will you eat and drink? Does he thank the servant because he did what was commanded? So you also, when you have done all that you were commanded, say, we are unworthy servants, we have only done our duty, or what was our duty. And what makes it, when I think about, being, I guess, a Christian, and wanting to serve God, when we do serve God and are honoring Him, I feel like we can get the thought in our head, okay, well, we're doing this good stuff. Let's see some, some of your blessings upon us and stuff like that. And well, we deserve something that we, I guess, have been wanting, kind of thing. And then when we're doing good and we don't see stuff working in our way by the means of how we want it to work, then we're well, what the heck are you doing up there, God? Come on now, help a brother out here. I'm doing work for you, and now I don't feel like I'm getting anything. And that's where and for me, I guess, I'd say more so used to. It's something I'm learning more on now and getting better with, I think, personally. But it's where it's okay, I want to serve you, but when I do serve you, we shouldn't have this expectation to get stuff back from him, because we've already been given more than we deserve and could ever ask for.
Right.
So, which obviously would be, Christ dying and paying for all the stupid stuff, the sins that we have yet to do and already have done. But so, I mean, yeah, for me, that's, I feel like why we would get impatient with God's, because we feel like we deserve something and should get a reward or a pat on the back. And I guess you could say like well, we love being comfortable and stuff like that.
Well, I wouldn't even say just comfortable. I'd say comfortable. Yeah. I think what you said there about the reward thing, like when you're in kindergarten and that, you're doing all this stuff to get the gold star.
Oh, yeah, good job.
You want some sort of recognition.
Yeah.
Now, I'll also add to that. Well, let's say something's going on and you're praying about it and
you don't see anything
and
happening.
Nothing's happening. You don't see anything about it happening.
Yeah. And going in, man. Yeah.
That can like,
that's tough.
That can give, for me, especially, I'll say this for me, sometimes I get impatient about it. I'm like, okay, not seeing anything happening here. Either it's like, I'd like to see either a yes or a no, please.
Right. Yeah.
If it's a no, okay, no. But
I just want to know.
Can I get that answer?
Give me an answer.
And that's part of that is that impatience of this society where we want things
here and now.
Yeah. We don't want to wait on anything.
No.
We get upset if we have to wait 20 minutes for a pizza delivery.
Freaking.
And then if we order a pizza from somewhere like I did this past weekend and see it's a 90-minute delivery after I place the order, you're like, I'll just order from somewhere else and get another one and just put this one in the fridge.
So you can have your cold pizza for later.
I didn't. I waited.
Good job. Here's your pat on the back.
Yeah. Yay. Oh, thank you for the recognition.
Yeah.
There we go. I got my recognition.
See, it all worked out.
Yeah. But, in all seriousness, though, I think that's a big thing, especially I've seen in the modern church. It's like, and that's where you get some of those charlatans that come up. You know what a charlatan is, right?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, are you going to learn another word this week?
Okay.
Like a charlatan, like a trickster, someone who is how would you say it? Like someone who's peddling false things.
Trolls do that, right?
Well, yeah, like so when I say a charlatan, like a guy who comes into like a church and says, "Come and give me $10,000 and I will make you whole through the laying of the hands on you and the Holy Spirit's going into you." That's what I mean. Like I'm talking like the people who sell the miracle holy spring water on the TV. Drink this water and you'll get that paycheck you've been waiting for. Or this, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Like I see it on TV a lot. It's like Pompeii's miracle spring water and like they're advertising. It's like, I'll send you a first file for free. And then they have all these people on TV going, I drank your spring water and the next day I got a check for $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Just like, okay, sure you did. So how much is he paying you?
Yeah, I'd say that wasn't all scripted.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're not, unfortunately, we're not always that extreme bad, I would say, in the church, but we're always still looking for, how could I convince God to go faster on this?
Yeah.
Why do I have to wait for this? I don't like having to deal with this issue.
This could go so many ways.
Say it.
But it's because, obviously, I've seen people post on as like a status, and it's like, it's God's time, not our own time kind of thing. Because it's like, he's all knowing, so he knows what's going to happen, I suppose, right?
Right.
So it's like, he knows what should happen in your life at what time kind of thing. Obviously, we don't know that because we only know so much at a time. Because I was going to I could go into a conversation of what was it all about, like predestination or is like free will and all that other stuff, which can become a handful. People disagree about that, and I guess I was when I was listening to a sermon about like, is there free will or is everything just predestined kind of thing? the pastor was saying is like, don't let that become such a huge issue where you butt heads and get upset with one another. I mean, I guess the main thing that's important to be in agreement on is, how, or the whole thing of how you're saved and Christ being the one that died and all that, like the whole on the resurrection or redemption and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, it's so easy to get discouraged when you're waiting for an answer or just something to change that's either difficult in your life and you don't see that happen for so long, and then you just lose hope and stuff. That's where it's really important. And I've been, for me, another reason I've been wanting to get more tied in with the whole Tuesday night studies and then going to the Sunday morning study is because of being in those groups and surrounding your people that are all, looking towards this, have the same goal kind of thing. And then comes the whole iron sharpens iron kind of thing.
Yep.
If you don't have those people that are with you, encouraging you and helping you and being there to support you, then you're just going to fall apart and end up just being a bitter and nasty person, I suppose. At least that would be the case for me.
Well, that's true for all of us in general. I mean, trying to go it alone never works.
No.
You will run out of motivation, energy, and something will just come along that'll take you out if you're doing it by yourself.
Right.
There's a reason that in the Bible it says, a single strand is easily broken, but a cord of 2 to 3 is hard to break.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yep.
It's not just let's put some poetry out there to make this nice visual image. There's actual application there where someone else has your back and you have their back. Life is going to come at you hard. Maybe one of you goes down for a little bit, but the other one comes in and helps out.
They're right there to pick you up.
Yeah. And that might flip back and forth at times. So
yeah, it was funny else because also for the message today, there was a pastor had made a comment of, as this, like, we're a whole, like, we obviously the building isn't the church, it's the people that are in the building that make it the church, and it's that the church is like the body of Christ. So when there's one that goes down, the body is supposed to be here to lift them back up,
right,
and keep them going, kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I guess I would have to say on that. And then the other part that we read from Luke 17 that made me think of patience, not the whole waiting on God thing, but it was talking about pay attention to yourselves. If your brother sins, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him. And then verse 4 is where it really stood out to me. It says, if he sins against you 7 times in a day and turns to you 7 times saying, I repent, you must forgive him. I think about myself where I'll give somebody so many chances.
Right.
And if they pass that certain limit for me, like, all right, forget about it. I don't want to have anything to do with you, and just leave me alone. Just don't want anything to do with the person. And then I guess I think about myself at times. It's like, man, I definitely am not easy to put up with at times. So it's like, obviously that whole forgiveness and one. Yeah. So I'm trying not to look over there because I know what you're doing.
Nope. Nope.
So, I mean, no, it's just that whole thing of you must, we're not being told you should, it's that you must forgive him. And I guess for me, it's like, man, to be able to do that and I guess have patience with somebody that keeps screwing up is difficult to have. And definitely something I need to work on. And then obviously the ultimate example would be, obviously Christ died for us. And I mean, I can't imagine all the patience he's had to put up, use for me, waiting for me to be like, hey, come on, I'm trying to get a hold of you, but you keep getting distracted and wanting to go off on these other things. It's like, hey, I'm right here for you.
Can you...
So... What?
Not to make you crazy or anything, but can you imagine, though, how much patience he's had to have with, and I'm including myself in this, okay? Mm-hmm. With the crazy crap that I've done, that you've done, that
everybody's done.
Like, think of your most embarrassing thing.
Oh man.
So
there's a few.
Okay.
But I think,
I could think of a few things for me. For you,
Yeah.
I would think of like idiot night.
uh-huh.
And yet the patience and all that's there of he knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
This
He-
sounds weird. He saw it happen.
He was there to
He witnessed it.
all of that.
That's just creepy, by the way. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
He needs- That'd be a time where bleach would be appropriate for the eyes. But I'm not saying I'm any better because I've done similar thing.
Right.
Okay. As your idiot night. Except no one blackmailed me.
No one
Sounds worse than it is.
Right.
There was a fake one. They didn't really do anything, but they tried to imply that they could. But
Gotcha.
I'm saying with idiot night.
Yeah.
But yet through all that, he's still saying, "Yeah, you screwed up.
Come back.
Come back." And I'm nowhere near being a father. The closest one to being a father here is Josh, who will be a father in less than a year. Whatever.
No, it'll be more than a year.
Well, no. I'm just trying to do the math. Like they're saying June right now is the wedding date.
No, July.
Okay, so
it'll be over a year.
So 20 months and 2 weeks when he's a father.
I'm looking forward to it.
And he's going to introduce his triplets to us. Poor Amy.
Right. Oh, goodness. For real, though.
Triplets with Amy is going to be...
That's a pain. That'll be a long day.
Yeah. But anyways, seeing your kid mess up.
Right.
And still having that patience to say, okay, you did it. And it's not patience is... okay, so there's two different things here. Patience and forgiveness. Two different concepts, okay?
Yeah.
So having the patience to say, we just got to weather through what is going on. Forgiveness is, yes, forgiving them what they did. It's like they've never done it. Now, on a human level, sometimes, even though we might forgive someone, sometimes we might still have to break off communication or something with them because as much as we forgive them, and we forgive them, like as in, we have no ill will towards you, we're good. Like you want to talk or whatever, we're good. Our relationship is restored. But because of this repeated, maybe they're abusive in a way, emotional, physical, or whatever. Be like, for my health, I have to
get away. So that goes back to the whole thing with David and Saul, him being chased down and David being chased down by Saul to be killed, but then David gets away from it every time. But then after a while, when David had the chance to kill Saul but didn't, he's like, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." But then David still is like, "You're forgiven, but I won't have anything to do with you," kind of thing. Like, I won't be with you in person.
Right.
So he had to keep himself away from him in fear of that happening again.
Right. So I want to make sure that we have that clear, that there is that difference between forgiving someone and going back into an abusive relationship. That you don't do that.
Right.
If it's an abusive relationship or it's something that's harmful, you get out of it.
Out.
You can still forgive the person.
Yeah.
And forgiving it's not just about forgiving the other person, but in a way it kind of releases you from that as well, because you're no longer just sitting there dwelling on it and sitting there in your own head about it, thinking about it all the time. Mm-hmm. So it releases you as well, just as much. But yeah, just having that patience of, that back to patience thing, that of a parent or God or whatever, having that patience for someone to come back and say,
and continue to work on whatever it is with them.
Yeah. And say, maybe that, that patience is waiting for them to come back and say they're sorry and they need to work on something. Or maybe that patience is just waiting for them to realize what they did was wrong. Mm-hmm. And maybe and then still wait out that time of they need to come back and ask for that forgiveness. Because that's not necessarily a thing that happens instantaneously. It might take years sometimes.
Right.
Or months long. I'm thinking of, a particular thing recently, not between us, just someone I know.
Oh, okay.
Where this thing has been a few months process, but now they're starting on the restoration path.
Mm.
And the amount of patience that people had to have with the situation,
Yeah.
it was hard at times and it seemed difficult. And why is this worth it? Because how many times have you thought that? I'll admit, I've thought that many times. Like, there are certain situations where my patience just wears out, and I go, "Why is it worth it that I continue on with this?"
Right.
And then
So
the other
easy to
end,
give up.
and then the other end of it comes up finally, and I'm like, "This is why it's worth it."
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not going for that immediate satisfaction that patient has. That my impatience would want me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I can wait a
did
little
this.
bit.
Now, why am I not seeing this happen?
Yeah. And especially like me, I'm a programmer. So when I do programming, there's an actual if this, then this.
Yeah.
That's an actual logic statement. If then.
Yeah.
So I expect if this happens, then this happens almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to flip my mind when I'm dealing with humans to realize humans are not machines.
Nope.
And God is not a machine either. And I can't just go, okay, God, I just had communion and I prayed. Now make this issue go away.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Unfortunately, how cool would that be? But then that would defeat the whole purpose of, I guess, having to actually
Now,
serve.
Could God decide to do a miracle on something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I would say stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
they do happen.
But more likely, you're not going to see that like on a day-to-day basis. And that's building patience, I think, is beneficial as well, because you're learning to wait out through the hard times. You're learning to be satisfied with where you're at, with what's going on, even though you might not be able to control it and it's not to your liking.
Yeah.
And that is hard.
That's very much so.
Mr. Brewer, you have been quiet this entire time.
Aaron was speaking away.
You can still interject.
You can say something.
I was looking at puppies too, so.
I'm going to start killing the internet
What? How do you do that?
before we record.
How do you do that?
I know, because I'm on the IT committee.
Yeah.
I know how to start it right back up.
No, you don't. As you were sharing earlier, talking about how freaking out about like the career, future, stuff like that. And I mean, I guess I feel like there's probably a good balance between that and for me. I mean, I think more often than not, I don't necessarily think about it too much, but I do, but I don't feel like I always put in as much effort as I probably should. Hence, I mean, video games being a huge time taker and waster.
Right. Now,
Which
to be fair, video games once in a while to relax
are fine.
are fine. Okay. I'm not going to argue
Yeah.
that. Now, as far as about the career thing, there is a point where you do kind of need to kind of plan out a little bit,
Yeah.
but not be so much.
Just
I planned by the age of 25 to be employed by my final company for the rest of my life. Not to that level.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, this is kind of where I want to go. I want to be in this industry and I'd like to get here eventually.
yeah. Well, I feel like also if you're like letting it stress you out to the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm 25 now and I don't have a good as well paying of a job as some people even younger than me, and then I just start stressing out and freaking out about life and be like, well, what's my next step? I need to find something now so I can, just, I don't know, I guess stressing yourself out like that and just having that be your huge worry and focus on, okay, well, I just need to make more money. I need to find a better job. I don't feel like that's necessarily a good thing either, but I don't know. I guess it depends. Depends, maybe.
If you think about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't know how many people I heard say that phrase today, by the way.
Really?
Yep. And they weren't even trying to invoke anti-Johnsonness. They just said
That just
it.
happened.
But
True.
okay, let me ask this question because
Uh-oh.
you're both in this generation. This article says over blank percent of millennials want rapid career progression where they feel that they are financially adequate by the age of 30. What is that number?
Financially adequate.
You'd like
What
stable.
percent?
Like
What?
what he's saying.
45%.
Johnson?
I'm gonna say 63,
Higher.
75,
Higher.
89.
Higher.
What?
97.
Lower. 90.
That's
90%
a
of
lot.
millennials are like that.
Hey, I was
Now-
never asked.
Now that being said, a recent study is also coming out, and you know what they're saying? Millennials are about to be shown up.
What?
Gen Z will be more impatient than millennials.
Oh, that's scary.
So you guys are finally going to be ousted on something. You just got to have a little patience first to be ousted.
But
A little patience will go a long way, sir.
right.
Well, yeah. You know what's? So I was thinking about this, and this also came up in my email. Just because I'm waiting on something, so I was checking through my email. So
Yeah.
they're not a sponsor, so I'm saying this now. But I subscribe to Dollar Shave Club, so cheap blades and all that for shaving.
Yeah.
Anyways, they had an article on the because for whatever reason they like to do web page articles as well, and they are talking about guys who are impatient and unable to grow beards. And I was like, so even in that world of maybe body transformation, there's non-patience.
Yeah.
People are trying to lose weight, gain muscle, grow facial hair, do that sort of stuff.
Funny.
People are impatient for things to be done before packing up.
Don't look at me. He's totally firing that one at you.
No, it's all right at you.
No, Mr.
All of his stuff is still out.
Yeah, usually it's down.
Eat. What? Okay. Well, wait. Guess what? You don't hear.
Look at that.
I just did.
Nice and quiet. Nice.
I just heard it.
It's because my mouth was making it.
Exactly.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, anything else you want to say on patience? Because you're driving my patience to nothing.
I guess how much is too much patience? Or because I'd imagine you can be too patient with somebody.
How much patience is too much patience? Was your question?
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to sound weird. I take that as a two-way street. With dealing with God or with humans, it's different. With
Yes.
God,
Agreed.
as much patience as necessary, which sucks.
It
Okay,
can.
let's be honest.
It can be tough.
Waiting
difficult.
sometimes sucks. Okay,
Mhm.
with humans,
I guess what would
okay,
what does it look?
okay.
What would it look like? I guess?
Here's someone. I'm not going to name names, but if someone is in a dating relationship and they give them a timeline on which to propose by, and that timeline is exceeded, they have waited too long because their desire. Now, you could also argue that they need to be more patient and wait more.
Exactly.
But at the same time, if their partner that they're dating is not either advancing in the relationship or providing the necessary things as part of that relationship that they require, you're not married at this point. You're dating.
Right.
You're break it off. If you're being patient and saying, okay, make an assumption here. Okay, big assumption. Josh's future wife, Amy, Josh one day becomes a drunk where he's drinking every day and becomes abusive. Again, this is big assumptions here. Never gonna see this happen. I said hopefully, okay? Now, if she waits around, and he becomes abusive and she waits and she's waiting for him to maybe sober up but she's waiting in the house where it's a danger to her, that's where waiting becomes too long. She can wait from a distance and try to help him still. But if she is physically being abused, that's not good. You can wait and be patient, but you can't be patient to the point of where you are being harmed.
Yeah.
That's where I'd say waiting too long is if you're waiting and being patient to the point of you getting physically, mentally, emotionally abused.
That's a line.
Yeah,
drawn.
that's a line drawn. Now, again, still in crazy bizarro world here where Josh is an abuser, a drunk abuser. If Amy or his wife or whatever at the time, is safe, but she waits and eventually through patience and, whatever happens, Josh cleans up and he says, I'm sorry, blah, 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 and they reconcile, great. Not saying it's going to happen, in those situations. I've seen those type of relationships where, there's reconciliation. I've also seen them where there isn't.
Yeah.
Josh, is there an area where it's too long to wait? Too much patience? How much patience is enough patience? How much patience is too much patience?
Well, of course, with God, the song 7 times 70. You just keep forgiving them again, and again, and again. But that's not God, but that's dealing with humans, right?
Right.
So, like what we say, you said, you can still be patient, but being there's nothing wrong with being patient. There's nothing wrong with waiting for somebody to clean up their act or something like that. But I think it's how you are patient makes it being too patient. If you are patient to the point where you are allowing yourself to be in the proximity of something that is dangerous, then you're being too patient. Waiting for something, there's nothing wrong with waiting for something. There isn't. But how you wait for it is where it can be bad.
Yeah.
So that's where I agree with you on that.
Or for you, after you get married, don't be patient on having kids. Go right at it.
I'm waiting.
9 months, 2 weeks after the
I'm
wedding
waiting.
day.
Every single podcast from here on to the wedding date, we're going to hear Paul mention 9 months, 2 weeks.
I am going to pull out some calendars and start predicting the birth dates of the triplets.
Triplets.
What if he ends up with triplets 9 months and 2 weeks after?
Looks like you guys got a babysitting job.
Nope.
I'm not good with
You're
babies.
their parents.
Yeah, but we want to have a nice evening. Uncle Aaron, Uncle Paul.
Then you better pony up some cash, buddy.
Pony up.
I said
Your reward is your prediction.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
No, my reward is seeing your face go, oh, no.
It was funny.
Anyways.
That's what grandparents are for also, spoiling the babies.
Yeah, grandparents before the uncles.
And
unless it's your brother as the uncle then.
Oh, yeah. And this one guy came to church today, and he was running late, but he's like, yeah, I made it here on a fairly good time with having to get 3 kids together and get them here to church on, at least to church on a time kind of thing. I was like, wow, kids are a lot.
Yeah. And when Josh has his 7 kids total.
Oh my gosh. See, at least I'm just glad it's turning on to him now.
Yeah.
Because it's not my 12 or 19 kids, supposedly, that I'm going to have someday in the future.
No, that's still in there, but he's the one who's going to have him. He's the one who's going to have him sooner.
Yeah.
You see, but as soon as a lady enters your life,
it's not going to happen.
It's coming from me, and it's going to get all casted on you.
No, because it has to. It's after he gets engaged portion. You're going to get married really soon here. It's sooner than you think.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening.
So, Aaron,
I do.
You're going to be very patient about waiting to have kids?
I'm going to be so patient to the point of I don't even think I'm going to have a girlfriend. I'm going to be that patient.
No, you'll end up with a girlfriend.
Nope.
Yeah,
nope.
Anyways,
you go through these phases. He does. Notice that.
I know.
Shut up. Okay, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want one, but it's just is it going to happen? No.
Find it. Okay. Find a straight guy who doesn't look and see someone and go, I'd like to date them.
That's a nice one right there.
But anyways, Aaron, do you want to answer your own question? Or
what? Or how much is too?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you guys are kind of pretty much just taking it from me. Obviously, as we said earlier, forgiveness and patience are very different. But I guess it's hard because obviously, Christ's and God's patience for me is infinite. Like, he can always put up with me. But there's a point where it's like, if I say I don't want anything to do with you anymore, he's like, all right, have it your way, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but he still patiently waits for you to come back.
Yeah, if you do, yeah. But so I guess it depends on, man, if it's physically, emotionally, whatever, mentally harming you, you should do yourself a favor and not
get out.
Get out of there. But then if that changes, don't be afraid to, I guess, get back into it and keep showing kindness and patience with whoever that may be.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Okay. Any final comments from either of you?
Nah, man.
I'd ask if you listen to more Reapcast, but
it's the same.
Yeah. And I don't even need to ask Brewer because I know
He
him.
got close. He actually looked him up.
Yeah. So in about 3 more months, he'll finally listen to them.
We'll get an answer.
He'll listen to about 5 minutes of them. Right?
That's like my dad. He was listening to the coping one.
He-
And he was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I heard how you cope. He was like, yeah, you just said drinking. I was like, okay, how long did you listen? He's like, 10 minutes. I'm like, well, there you go. I was like, you didn't even give it like a whole. You can't say that's how I just immediately
Yes.
deal with my issues.
It's like listening further. But
He was like, drinking. Yep, I knew
That's
it.
it. I'm
he's like,
done.
I knew that one. Well, if you haven't checked out Reapcast yet,
Do it.
Here's a little demo here.
What is up, everybody? Clay here from the Reapcast. We are a conversational style podcast dedicated to having conversations about today's toughest topics. Faith, religion, social issues, and pretty much you name it, we'll talk about it. But one thing I believe that sets us apart is we truly want to do so in understanding. We don't have to agree with you to understand, but we have to listen to grow. So check us out. Just search Reapcast wherever you get your podcast, and be sure to check us out on reapcast.simplecast.com.
How did they come about that name?
What, Reapcast?
Yeah.
I haven't asked him.
Oh,
I could
okay.
ask him.
Yeah.
Or you could ask him.
I could.
Yeah. Either one of us could ask him. Josh can't ask him because Josh isn't on Facebook.
Nope.
I don't exist in the electronic world.
And I'm not going to give
I'm a figment.
Josh Clay's number.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm a figment of imagination.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are a figment of our imagination. Since Josh is a figment of our imagination, you should check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcast. Listen to this imaginary Josh as he talks about how all time is his time, how we
Yes.
must all deal things his way.
Exactly.
Leave us a review on either Stitcher or on Apple Podcasts. Share us with some friends that you like. Interact on social media, and do that. And tell us your favorite Josh ghost story,
What?
because we all know a Josh in our life.
Wait.
What is
Oh,
a
boy.
Josh? We all have a Josh in our life. A Josh that
Doesn't exist.
doesn't exist, but
The
yet
figment of your imagination.
screws with our schedules every week.